The border surge is far from over as migrants illegally cross into the United States. Over 4,000 migrants are being apprehended in Del Rio, Texas alone. Border Patrol agents also discovering two young children abandoned on the banks of the Rio Grande River. Here now is Lara Trump, daughter-in-law of former President Trump and Fox Business contributor. Lara, great to see you. Thank you for being here. I just want to throw out a couple of numbers. I know I don't want to do too much of that because people's eyes glass over, but in August there were 208,000 illegal immigrants who were detained by Border Patrol agents. That's a 233% increase over 2019, a 300% increase over the numbers from 2020. What do you make of this? It's not going away at all.
No, it's not going away. And David, at this point, it feels rather intentional on the part of the Biden administration. You know, a lot of people question, why would you want an open border? We know that from a security standpoint as a country, it does not work. We know that a country without borders cannot exist. We cannot sustain the number of people that are just free flowing over our southern border. If we extrapolate out 200,000 times 12 months of the year, that's 2.4 million people. And David, that's just the people that were apprehended. We don't even know the full number of people that are coming in, but perhaps these are the future of the Democrat Party. Perhaps they know that the American people are waking up to the complete and total train wreck that they are as leaders of our country. And they think that if they just let millions of undocumented illegal people flow into America, we know they've been pushing for no voter ID. They want a free-for-all at the ballot box. Perhaps they think that these are the future voters for the Democrat Party. It is absolutely terrible to see the treacherous journey these people have to go on to get to America. We have truly incentivized these people to risk their lives, to risk the lives of these young children you just referenced. I mean, the numbers are incredibly upsetting when you think about parents just sending kids with coyotes, with human traffickers, to try and make it to America. And the people at the end of the day who are responsible it's Joe Biden and the Democrat Party.
And, you know, we don't need to do that. We don't need to. The major incentive for people coming to the United States is freedom, first and foremost, and the ability to achieve the American dream. And the American dream didn't used to be, maybe the Biden administration wants it to become, it didn't used to be free handouts. That was not the American dream. It used to be the ability to work, to create a business of your own, and to succeed, to excel as a person in a business of your own. That used to be the American dream. I'm worried it's dying based on their promotion of the American dream being handouts.
Yeah, well, if you want to socialize a country, perhaps you want to condition the people of your country to get used to getting handouts. You don't want them to, you know, feel the pride in a hard day's work and earning your own way. You're right, that did used to be the American dream, that anyone could come to America, no matter who you were, no matter your beginnings. And if you worked hard enough, you could achieve anything you wanted in America. And now we're paying people to stay home from work. We want people to become fully reliant on the government. And you're right, it feels like every single day our American dream is slowly dying here in this country. Donald Trump brought it back in the 4 years he was president. Joe Biden, since he has been president of the United States since January 20th of this year, has slowly killed it every single day along with the Democrat Party. It is so sad to see.
Let me quickly ask you about Donald Trump, because I know he said he may not be able to avoid being the next guy. I know you're not going to answer whether he's going to run. And let me put it a different way. Any chance at all that he would endorse somebody other than himself for president? Somebody, for example, like Ron DeSantis?
I mean, that would obviously be a question for him. He's got a big decision to make. Look, he went through a lot in the 4 years he was president. We know they put him through the ringer. They put our entire family through the ringer. He didn't even take a salary at the end of the day to have the relentless attacks we know that he had, and yet still managed to do an incredible job as president. I think now more than ever, people see what a great job he did when you contrast it with the abysmal job that Joe Biden has done as president. Well, people want him back, but we'll have to see. If he doesn't run, he would endorse somebody.
We didn't even talk about the pandemic and these vaccine mandates, Afghanistan, the economy in terms of inflation. There's a lot to talk about. Lara, you have to come back. Please do.
Anytime. Thanks so much.